Data is the new oil. We have heard this hundreds of times. But very few people could actually get that oil and do something with it. Coding and tech were the big barriers. But this is changing. Gemini plus Colab in Google is giving the power of data to the hands of everyone, common people like you and me, and completely free. In this video, I'll show you how to get this powerful combination, how to use this, and what it means for you. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Rahim. I'm a data science and AI professional with more than 15 years of experience in AI. I'm an author of 3 books on machine learning and AI. I've been teaching machine learning and AI for more than 10 years formally. And my goal is to make AI accessible to everyone. And in this video, I'll show you how you can use Google's existing tools like Gemini and Colab to harness the power of AI for your job, for your career, whether it's data science or not. So let's see Google Colab and Gemini in action. So the first thing you need to do is go to your browser, and either you can search for Google Colab and click on the first result, or you can type in colab.research.google.com. Either do this. The link is in the description as well. So either do that or just search for Google Colab and hit enter. And you should be taken to the Google Colab interface like so. So if you're using Google Colab for the first time, then you won't see as many things over here. You'll perhaps just see getting started or welcome, and you don't need to care about the others. What you need to care about is the new notebook button down here on the left. So just go ahead and click on the new notebook, and you will be taken to the powerful interface of Google Colab, which I will describe over the next couple of minutes. All right, so this is the view that you should get, and I'll take a couple of minutes to explain this. First of all, there is this is the interface. This is really the place where you do everything. You can write your own code, you can generate code with AI in these things called cells. These are cells, and you don't need to worry about it so much right now. You can import files, you can export files, you can write code, run it here, get the output here, visuals, diagrams, plots, everything, import, export, everything is possible here. You'd also connect to Google Gemini. As you can see, there is a few icons here, Gemini here, Gemini here, and so on. Just click on Gemini and you will see Gemini come up here as well, right? And here you can upload files as well. So what you could do, first to begin, you could just say, click on something and you connect to it. And Google Gemini, you can take it here, add context, or you can use it like a sidebar here as well, if that is better for you. But this is really the interface, and this is where you will do everything. And in our case, because you're not going to write any code, you will just ask Gemini. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a CSV file, a data file to it. It's a 1.2 megabyte file related to an insurance company. The link to the file is in the comments, so you can also follow the exact same steps as me. So you will say load file, and then just locate the file, and the file will be this file called insurance. I know insurance. It's a 1.2 MB file, and the file is getting loaded here. And the file is in. Once the file is in the system, this is now as easy as just talking to an intern or an assistant and telling him or her what to do. So this insurance file, give it some context. This attached file has data for the marketing campaign for an insurance company. Yeah. So they call the customer and see if the customer takes up the vehicle insurance or not, right? So for a vehicle insurance company, perhaps, if that is what you want, right? But anyway, the key field or the target field that you want to analyze field is response, yeah, which indicates if someone bought the insurance. Now, what you want to do in this case, so what we'll do is just, we want to analyze this file, right, and see which customers have the highest rates of responses, which are the best customers to target for the next marketing campaign. So what you're going to do is you ask Gemini to analyze the response rates for various customer segments, identify the people most likely to respond in future campaigns, right? Provide some recommendations, actionable recommendations. And remember, you're not doing any coding or anything here, you're just telling it, right? You're just telling it, this is the objective, this is the key field, just analyze, right? Analyze this whole thing and give me some recommendation. That's it. That's the kind of information you give to it. And now you hit send. And what should happen now? Let me increase the space a little bit. Yeah, what should happen now? It is first taking the file. It is now making some sort of a plan for you. That, okay, I'm happy to help. Here is a plan to analyze the response rates for various customer segments and so on. Now, it will give you some sort of a plan. At first, it says, I want to load the data. I want to pre-process the data, meaning I will handle the missing values, encode categorical features, and so on. It will say, I'll also do exploratory analysis. So analyze the distribution of the target response and explore the relationship between features and the target variable to identify potential with high response rates. And in fact, it also says train a classification model to predict the likelihood. Model evaluation, segment identification, actionable recommendation, and finish the task. These are the things it says it wants to do. Now, this is excellent, gives you a plan. You might say, yes, just go ahead and run this plan, accept this full plan. Or you might say, you know what, don't build a model for me, just analyze the segments. Or you would say, do a certain task. You could do all of those things. It's practically like you would talk to an intern really or an assistant. So what I'm going to do is say accept and auto run. And this might take a bit of time, but it would be super interesting to see how it does this. So now what it will do is, the plan is made, it will do step by step each of the things it says it will do. So first was data loading. And you'll notice that on the left, whatever tasks were written, data loading, they appear on the left. Now it does the things, right? There is a reasoning. The subtask is loading the data set. It writes this code and also gives you some sort of an output. Yes. Now you might want to take a look at this. If you're a technical person or if you want to analyze how it is working internally, then please go ahead and look at the code. Just make sure it works correctly or not, or just take a look at the information it prints out. So for example, this has 6 different or 7 different columns: gender, age, previously insured or not, vehicle age, vehicle damage, and annual premium, and response. So, and response seems to be 0 or 1, and these are the other sample values of this. So you can keep looking at this. And then after loading, it says data pre-processing. So handle missing values and port categorical features. Again, you could look into this to see what it is exactly doing. So for example, vehicle age earlier was just less than 1 year or more than 2 years, but now it has 2 over here, right? Gender, male, true. So earlier it was gender was male or female. And now it just makes a flag that whether it is gender, and this it does so that later it is easy to make a predictive model out of it. So now it is doing exploratory analysis. It does a lot of these things. It looks at the proportion. This is super interesting, right? It looks at the proportion, right, of response rates for different categories. So for instance, males, right? Males are responding more than females. This is good. People who were previously insured are not responding so much. People who are not previously insured are responding at a much higher rate. People who have vehicle damage earlier are responding much more than people who do not have, and so on. And people with older vehicles are responding better. So you see, it already is giving you the insights. You can go through this. You can see also now it is going into relationships, and now it is going into plots, which are much more informative. So it says, so people who responded and people who did not respond, what is the distribution of age like? Are there differences in their ages and so on, right? It does that. And it will do a lot of things. If you want something in a particular way, you could also do that. Now it goes into building models. And it builds, which model is this? It builds, let's see. Yes, it builds a logistic regression model. Again, you don't need to know exactly how a logistic regression model works if you're a non-technical person, but the fact that you can see it is building a model as well. It is giving you so much information, right? That this is accuracy, this is precision, this is recall, this is this. And it even tells you what does this mean. So accuracy, what does precision mean? The proportion of correctly predicted responders out of all instances predicted. Ability to distinguish between positive and negative. It gives you all of this information. Then it goes into customer segmentation identification. It does some sort of a reasoning here, use a trained model to identify who is most likely. And then it also identifies the characteristics of the top 10% customer. This is super cool. Top 10% customers, this is the attribute. Age is 36 on average. They are not previously insured. Annual premium is so and so on. And it gives you a lot more information here. Distribution of vehicle agent, most likely responders, and so on. This is one way of doing it, right? And now it also gives you the actionable recommendations. You see here, based on the analysis of most likely responders by top 10% predicted probability, the following have a much higher response rate, right? Or something. The following characteristics are highly prevalent in the segment. People who have damages, yes. People whose vehicle age is 1 to 2 years, perhaps. A significant proportion for male, previously insured, and so on. Now, you can also see these a bit more detail over here. It also says data segmentation or do an A/B testing, perhaps or some sort of an experimentation, and so on and so forth. So this is all it did in perhaps 4 to 5 minutes. So this is super impressive, and let's pause and really analyze how good this output really is. Let's analyze this output, and it did give us quite a lot of output, right? And like I said earlier, right, it did give us good details on what it is doing. It is giving you interpretable results throughout, right? It is giving you these information which you can see as it progresses. It also makes a lot of plots as you would like. In fact, you could have conversed or talked to it, and it would have made different plots if you wanted to, right? It builds the model for you without you knowing anything about model building. It also explains the metrics and not just give you some numbers, but also tells you how to interpret these numbers. It gives you recommendations and so on. It is trying different things and actionable recommendations here. So based on my experience and based on what I've seen junior analysts do, I would say this is good work. Considering that I did not give it a lot more specific tasks, but this is good work. And the kind of work it did here in 5 minutes or to 6 minutes, perhaps, is comparable to what an analyst would do in perhaps a week, or a very junior analyst perhaps would need a couple of weeks to do this kind of work, right? And of course, now if I want to change something, it will again in 5 minutes give me another output, which is not even comparable to what a junior analyst would do. So this is super useful, super powerful, and the output is fairly good quality, and I have full control to change anything if I don't like it. That's really good stuff here. All right, it's clear to see that this is super capable. If you can describe it, it will do that for you. You don't have to write a single line of code. And by just asking it to do things, by being logical, by reasoning, you could achieve a lot right now. You could ask it to write certain things for you. You could ask it to explain how to do it. You could ask it to do it differently, make this analysis instead of this other analysis, or explain what this thing means, or even explain the process in the code. It is quite capable, that's for sure. And the thing is, this is the worst it will ever be, meaning that it will only get better and better with time. Now, what does this mean for you? Now, you have at your disposal a capable AI assistant or AI data scientist, which is available 24/7. And it can analyze things any way you want it to. You can ask it to perform various analysis, of course. And it will oblige. If you can think it, it will do this. Now, this means that the power of data has been unlocked to you. You don't need to depend on a data analytics team. You don't need to worry about writing detailed formula here and there. You don't need to learn code, start analyzing things, to start getting insights, right? And really, this is super powerful. That anyone with a logical brain, anyone who wants to do things, who wants to investigate matters and learn from data, can now do so. And this is a major change. And this unlocks truly, genuinely the power of AI, power of data to everyone. Data is the new oil. We keep hearing this again and again, but very few people could do something about this. Very few people could benefit from this data economy. And of course, code and tech were the big barriers, but that has changed, as you saw. So now the question for you is, what will you do with this opportunity? Of course, now could be the time you shine. If you're a logical person who is data-oriented or can learn from data, wants to work on these things, this is an excellent opportunity for you. So will you make use of this opportunity, or will you just keep watching? There's a lot to discuss here, and on this channel, we will keep discussing these ideas in far more detail as well. So if you don't want to miss this video, or you don't want to miss future discussions, subscribe to this channel and make sure you enable notifications. And if you found this video useful, share it with your friends so they can also benefit from this.